My father raised his tumbler during my siblings' reception and declared boldly enough for every light fixture to catch it. Certain children fill you with pride. The rest simply occupy room. The guest chuckled. Brief, courteous, anxious chuckles. My mom held her grin frozen in place. My sister's new spouse tapped his glass as if it was no big deal. And there I was, every inch of me buzzing with heat, grasping that I'd just been wiped out in front of all the folks I'd known since childhood. So I grinned right back without wavering and replied, "Lucky for you, I just secured my own spot 2,000 miles off. No need to fret. You won't ever watch me occupy room anymore." The chuckles faded quicker than their bounce. I rose, abandoned my bubbly untouched, and stepped away from their flawless scene. That evening marked when they celebrated their grip, and I began plotting my breakout. Before I share how I silenced them for keeps, drop a comment. Where are you tuning in from? So I know I'm not solo. And once you've caught the full tale, share what you'd do if your own relatives tried to whittle you down to zero. The evening following the reception, sleep evaded me. The hotel's atmosphere carried hints of bubbly and flowers, the identical blend that had stuck to my gown as I exited that space. I replayed it endlessly, the tone of my dad's words through the speaker, the refined giggles that trailed. How my mom's grin stayed intact without a flaw. I'd long sensed guidelines in our household. I simply hadn't grasped that public shame was among them. Returning to our place in Indiana, the quiet struck deeper than the speech. My folks' home appeared unchanged. The slate blinds, the trimmed grass, the bulb in the cooking area that stayed on forever. Yet a change had occurred. Even the atmosphere seemed bound by agreement, as if I had to pay for every inhale there. Dad occupied his typical chair at the eating surface, computer, displayed charts, shining off his lenses. He avoided eye contact as I entered, merely stating, "You pulled off quite a departure." His voice lacked rage. It was detached, like evaluating harm to a steak. Mom filled her mug with brew and noted, "Your dad's only concerned. You shamed yourself, nothing more." Shame myself. That's their version of the rewrite. My sister messaged soon after with a string of hearts and bubbly icons from her getaway, acting like it never occurred. She'd mastered picky recall. When she bombed her first college year, they labeled it exhaustion. When I sought aid for school fees, it was recklessness. Identical plot, alternate teller. For ages, I convinced myself they simply failed to get me. That someday, I'd achieve something massive enough, mature enough, triumphant enough to force them to view me as beyond a duty. But that evening, in my former room, encircled by runner-up awards and unsettled feelings, I understood they got it all along. They simply preferred the pecking order unchanged. Dad had once told me, "If you seek affection, work for it." At 16, I saw it as insight. At 27, I spotted the harshness hidden within. The affection I'd chased via effort and compliance was already pledged elsewhere. To my sister, the child who never needed to request again. The following dawn, I brewed myself a cup in the same cracked holder from my teen years. I observed Dad head to the storage in his iron top. Mom tending the flowers I'd once neglected for days until they died. It all seemed so routine. And that scared me worse than the reception ever had. Because if I lingered, I knew the outcome. They'd gloss it over, recast the evening as a mix-up, and I'd slip right back into the spot they crafted for me. Helpful, subdued, regretful. But now I skipped the sorry. I took a seat at the cooking table, flipped open my computer, and launched a fresh chart. It wasn't theirs. It bore the name Breathing Room. A fortnight went by before the speech surfaced again. That's our household's way with tension. Deprive it of air until it complies. In the shared messages, Mom posted pics of my sister and her partner along the Italian shore. Notes like, "Our shining star chasing her vision." Folks responded with hearts and glimmers. Nobody included me. Nobody referenced that evening. It felt like I'd been cut from the household reel for better flow. So I joined the act. I liked some images, added a courteous, appears fantastic. Like applauding an illusionist when you've spotted the slight. Then, I returned to my fresh routine. Mornings for tasks, afternoons scouting roles in distant towns, evenings growing what I dubbed the breakout stash. Each time Mom sent a blame-tinged query. "Spoken to your sibling yet?" I offloaded an item. A pile of novels, a outfit worn briefly, an outdated snapper. Every transaction fed straight into a hidden fund called breathing room. Each tap sensed like an inhale. Point one evening, Dad rang. His manner was fake soft. Your mom mentions you've pulled back. I nearly chuckled. I've stayed steady. You only just saw. He waited, then added, avoid the theatrics. Kin is kin. That phrase once swayed me. No longer. Post-call. I accessed the folder on my screen named Strategies. Within were listings in Seattle, Boulder, Tucson, distant enough to snap the repeat. Near enough for cards if I chose. My brother rang that same night. He'd traveled for gigs for ages, yet he touched base. How you managing? I paused. Okay. He rejected it. Sarah. Okay is code for when hope's gone quiet. I stayed silent since he nailed it. I'd quit hoping, just not why he figured. Soon after, a message from his former partner, Lisa. The sort that seems warm but reeks of meddling. He mentions you've eyed relocating. Seattle fits you. I gazed at it, digits poised above the display, then erased it. I refused her or anybody room to script my path once more. Days on, Mom phoned, faking wellness concern. You seemed worn last chat. Get some downtime. Then, like sliding a blade in soft, she slipped, don't flee kin over one rough evening. Flee. Her term for it. Not departing. Not rescuing myself, just fleeing. That's when it hit. Fury had faded. I'd finished bargaining. I reopened Strategies and retitled it Departure. Then reserved a trip for a Seattle chat. The verification message landed in my box like a pulse. Next morning, I passed my folks' home panes, lit yard, ideal drapes pulled snug, and grasped a truth. They'd crafted a dwelling that seemed vibrant externally but stifled inside. And I was at last mastering my own air. It unfolded quicker than anticipated. The crumble, the reveal, the muted fury after. A week prior to my chat, my sister called. Her tone frail, unsteady. Lacking the favored child's assurance, all adored. He's vanished days now, she shared. Claims he wants room. I caught a tiny sour chuckle via the line. Ironic how guys twist your phrases back. I aim to stay out but recognize that vibe. Resignation blended with shock. The noise I'd gulped for years. So I drove there. Her place seemed set for sorrow. Partly bare wardrobes, goblets airing by the basin. A marriage snap still flipped down on the surface. She passed me a carton and stated, I can't return there solo. They're meant our folks' domain. We boxed quietly until she murmured, you were spot on to go. I wished to explain it wasn't victory. It was endurance, but I merely nodded. By dusk, her cartons lined the entry. She embraced me pre-departure, a rarity since childhood. Resist their tug, she urged. It nearly felt like approval. Back home, the place dimmer than norm. Mom perched in the sitting area, device in grip, glow on part of her face. You aided your sibling shift, she queried sans glance. I halted. How'd you? Your sister rang. Praised your kindness. Claimed you urged her return. I hadn't. Her mouth bent a bit. Not fully a grin. Anyway, she's en route, and Sunday supper set. You'll join. No query there. That night, I glimpsed my reflection in the glass. Serene yet empty. I launched my computer, viewed the strategy spot, and spotted the Seattle note. Chat verified. For the initial stretch in moons, relief neared. I output the proposal specs, stashed my work samples, and tucked both in a hide binder marked fresh start. Then I acted bold. I entered the joint household funds, the one Dad demanded for crises. I moved every bit that was mine to my own spot and sealed the joint. Neat, hushed, lawful. 2 days on, Mom's vibe altered. Her note arrived sugar-coated. Supper at 6, your sister's making pasta bake. That signaled it. Mom never allowed others to prep. I sensed it then, not supper. A trap. I powered my device, saved my data to a tiny drive, and kept it in my bag. If chat was due, it had happened sans my strategies in grasp. At 6 exact, I entered the home. The surface arranged for 4, flames dancing like truce. Dad browsed his screen, my sister rigid nearby. Mom filled stems and beamed as if nothing fractured. Take a seat, Dad ordered. I complied, but now I wasn't the accused. The instant I settled, I knew. The vibe thick, fake serene that preceded their sessions. Flames danced among us. The setup ideal like a snap for pardon nobody intended. Dad avoided my eyes as he began. Your relative Emma mentions you've sought West Coast. His manner gentle, but phrases heavy like rounds in velvet. I held steady. Correct. I lined up a chat. Mom placed her stem. We're just anxious you're escaping an issue, Sarah. My sister's gaze flicked my way. Alert or regret, unclear. I beamed that honed risky poise I'd picked from them. Perhaps I'm chasing toward a goal. Dad met my eyes at last. His stare like a shutting gate. Avoid another uprising. You've long been theatrical. Or perhaps you've long been harsh, I murmured low. The space hushed. My sister's utensil tapped her dish. Mom's beam fissured a touch. You can't intend that. I do. My tone startled me. You shamed me openly and you all giggled. You reared me on deals and speeches, then dubbed it care. You claim kin endures, but truly mean submission. Dad eased his seat back, measured. Mind your manner. I chuckled. Not boisterous, just keen to cut the strain. That's your focus, right? Manner? Appearance, dominance. You ignore wounds if it seems polished. He rose. We provide it all. No, I countered. You loaned it all with rates. First time. His expression twitched like a split in aged ceramic. My sister's tone cut in. Dad, please stay out, he barked. There it was. The instinct, the order reclaiming. But it missed now. My sister hushed, not from dread, but insight. I rose. This isn't supper. It's a show. And I'm done acting. Mom's tone quivered. Rare. You're airing big. Possibly, I replied. But it'll be my error. I faced my sister. Staying? Her eyes shone, but silent. I nodded once and headed doorward. Sarah, Dad's command, honed through years. The sort that halted you. Don't abandon this kin. I glanced back. You abandoned first. Just gradual. I exited sans bang. Soft leaves echo stronger. Out. The night thick with warm damp. I entered my ride, clutched the wheel till knuckles paled. My device hummed once, Mom's note return. We can discuss maturely. I erased it. At my spot, the vibe calm but livable. I dropped my pack, launched my screen, and viewed the fresh message shining. Offer. Idea planner, Seattle. Briefly, I stared. The sort my kin would deem unreal. But I opened. Steady gig, from afar. Perks, pay beyond dreams. Bottom note. Excited for your start next cycle. All they claimed I lacked merit for. I output the proposal, tucked it in fresh start binder beside the sealed funds note. Each paper evidence I could create sans their nod. Then faint buzz again. Strange digits. I paused pre-answering. Sarah, my sisters hush, they're livid. Mom spotted your chart. Told Dad you plotted shame by bolting. I shut eyes. How? She rifled your computer at supper. Claimed battery check. Naturally. Controlling tail wasn't enough. They needed the draft. Avoid return. She's en route, doors shut. Please no. My chest tightened. Thanks. We lingered connected, both inhaling wary of noise. Then her murmur, proud of you. And off. I sat still. The stab scorched, but below steadier lucidity. I hauled my case from storage, flipped it floorward, and packed. Not frantic, calculated, intentional. Favored pants. Duo tops that suited me, the hide binder, the drive. Rest could decay here. Pre-sunrise, I slid out. Air moist and sharp to bite. Area dormant, panes black save one. Likely another up awaiting shift. Driveway end, I eyed the home. Entry glow blinked once like weary thump. I breathed low, you wished me out. Wish granted. Cab timely. Driver silent. We glided quiet freeway. Town gleams dimming rearward. Airport entry, brew and shine scent struck. I claimed window seat, launched device, spotted Dad's note. Avoid irreversible pics. I keyed reply, unsent. Some errors soul escape. Then wiped all. Sun rising. Speaker called Seattle bound. I seized pack, gated and years first, no urge to glance back. Aboard. Engines growl, I shut eyes. Dad's phrase rang. Certain children feel pride. Rest occupy room. I beam gentle, firm. Then see me claim all room I require. Craft soar clouds, and briefly it scents like breathing room. Seattle welcome sans fanfare, just light drizzle and pine sent via cab gap. My least unit tiny, edges worn, but owned. No regs on cooler, no quiet scorn and vibe. First night, unpacked deliberate. Each crease top a soft claim here. Free. Week on, firm on board me. Let dub me reliable and keen. Terms my kin never applied. Nights full again. Quiet no penalty now. Peace. Then sister's audio. Tone even, brighter. Snagged Chicago roll, she said. Mom wept, but control slip, not grief. Thanks for proving doable. I re-listened twice. Then beamed. First, our kin loop skipped sorry. Chose gap. Secure, vital gap. Out, drizzle ease to haze. I widened pain and inhaled. Not escape. Arrival. I perched window that night. Town gleams off slick road below. Device hummed once. Another kin meal snap. Same vacant spot table end. I skipped open. Some tails skip follow-ups. I filled water glass. Lifted a bit, murmured to claiming room. Quiet replied like ally. If ever deemed excess, overly vocal or insufficient, hold this. Sometimes calm rings like your voice unbroken. Share what you do. And if it resonated, subscribe to catch the next.